most trustless name in news.
I'm sure many of you have noticed, but I haven't been posting as much lately. Well, unfortunately, I've been sick for the past couple of weeks. I might have caught dengue, a virus from mosquitoes here in Brazil, but being gone for that time, being sick and not looking at the charts, maybe has been a good thing. I've woken up like a sleeping beauty and Bitcoin is above 60K. So what's gonna happen next? Well, you guessed it, Altseason. And it's time for Chico Crypto. Oh, Altseason, Altseason, Altseason. It's the time of face-melting gains, 30%, 50%, 100%, and even 1,000% daily gains. It's time when crypto minnows can become crypto whales in the blink of an eye. But to capitalize on this coming alt season, you need to understand exactly how they operate. So let's look back to the first major alt season that happened in the crypto markets, the alt season of 2017. And this can best be seen by looking at Bitcoin dominance, aka how much of the total crypto markets does Bitcoin's market cap control. As we can see with Bitcoin dominance, even during the bull run of 2013, there wasn't a major alt season. Bitcoin's dominance was around 95% in November of 2013. It dropped to a low of 78% by March of 2014, a mini alt season. But then it stayed within that range of 95% to 78% all the way up until 2017. But by March of 2017, something major happened. A major alt season. Dominance dropped significantly, all the way down to 38% by mid-2017. Dominance rebounded for a bit, but then it fell off a cliff again, down to 32% low by January of 2018. So what was the kicker? What was the reason for this alt season and drop in Bitcoin dominance? Well, what kicked off the first part of this alt season was Bitcoin crossing its former all-time high from the previous cycle. As we can see, this all-time high from 2013 was around 1,200 bucks. Bitcoin officially crossed this number in March of 2017. Remember, the first half of this alt season began in March of 2017. So is the cross of a former all-time high the reason major alt seasons kick into high gear? Well, let's take a look at the next cycle. After the dominance low in January of 2018, Bitcoin dominance rebounded, hitting its peak dominance January of 2021 of over 71%. But after this, dominance crashed and crashed severely. By May of 2021, it crashed down to 38%. What happened around this time? Beginning of 2021. Well, of course, Bitcoin crossed its former all-time high of 20K. It's pretty dang obvious that a cross of the former all-time high is the kicker for major alt seasons. Remember, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Things are different. Things have changed this time around. All previous all-time high crosses have happened after the halving. Although from the looks of it this time around, the cross of the former all-time high is going to happen pre-halving. But in my opinion, things are going to stay the same. If this cross happens, it's going to kick off a major alt season, and Bitcoin dominance is going to crash and crash hard from its current level of around 50%. So how do you get prepared? What is this alt season going to look like? Which altcoins should be on the top of someone's mind? Well, first we need to understand the money flow of crypto, because this time how the money flows, it's going to be so important. First, you have fiat, or cash money, and that's exchanged for Bitcoin. We are seeing this happen on a large scale right now. Next, the profits made from Bitcoin trading, they're exchanged for Ethereum and large caps, aka cryptos in the top 50. After this, profits from those trades are rotated into mid and low caps, which seems to pump around the same time. Now, during an alt season, the profits made from mid and low caps are then rotated back into Bitcoin. And this process repeats and repeats until the blow off top, where the profits are then rotated massively back into cash money, resulting in the big crash. So in my opinion, we're about to see a mass rotation of Bitcoin profits into Ethereum and some large caps very, very soon. But let's talk about Ethereum, because there are two major catalysts coming in the next few months that traders are going to be front running. Of course, there's the spot Ethereum ETF deadlines in May, with the likes of Standard Chartered predicting that they will be approved, so it's very likely. But there's something happening before this for Ethereum that is a giant indicator of where the Ethereum profits will rotate into. If you didn't know, a major Ethereum upgrade is coming to the mainnet in just a few weeks, and the markets are not fully appreciating it just yet. This is the Ethereum Dencun upgrade. Tim Biko, Ethereum dev, tweeted the upgrade is slated to go live epoch 29,626, which is estimated to happen March 13th. So what is Dencun? Well, this is one of the biggest scaling upgrades in the history of Ethereum. It's going to massively reduce the fees of Ethereum rollups and layer 2s. So guess where Ethereum profits will rotate into post-Dencun upgrade? You guessed it, into Ethereum layer 2s. This means I'm stacking the likes of Arbitrum, Optimism, and the other Ethereum L2s. If you want to check out the others, L2beat.com has a great list of them. But if the Dencun upgrade goes through without a hitch, many of these are going to pump as Ethereum profits rotate into these mid and low caps. Arbitrum and Optimism can be considered large caps, but what about a mid-cap L2 that I'm eyeing? Well, there is an Ethereum layer 2 that is setting itself apart from the rest. It's an application-specific rollup that is adhering to a big crypto narrative that could help it pump bigger than the rest. That is Cartesi. So why do I like Cartesi? Well, like mentioned, Cartesi is an application-specific rollup, which means the rollups built with it will be for a single DApp. That means each DApp will have its own rollup and virtual machine, meaning hundreds to thousands of specific rollups with their own VMs can be created with Cartesi. That means the processing power of the rollup won't have to be shared with other DApps, like with Arbitrum, Optimism, and others. But Cartesi is doing something that goes beyond just app-specific rollups. They are elevating simple smart contracts to decentralized Linux runtimes. What does this mean? Basically, Cartesi put an entire Linux runtime into their virtual machines, meaning their rollups can run a Linux operating system. That means developers can create decentralized apps the same way they make traditional web apps.
Risk architecture is going to change everything.
Yeah, risk is good.
And Eric De Mora has a great tweet thread explaining this on X. I highly recommend you read it, as it explains the significance of this very well. It's included in the description. But here are the things I want to highlight in this video. Eric says the Cartesi machine is an alt VM that is ready to use today. It is uniquely positioned to allow devs to create sophisticated decentralized programs with software dependencies stacking all the way down to a real Linux kernel. Aside from the Cartesi machine, there are alt-VM projects also working to support languages like C, C++, Rust, TypeScript, and Go, making the development experience more akin to that of mainstream developers, and thus marking a significant advancement in Web3. However, using mainstream languages alone is no way the same experience as developing for mobile, desktop, or servers. The Cartesi machine was designed to go beyond by running Linux and enabling software components developed over more than 30 years. Alt VMs that don't implement a real architecture, including the privileged parts of it, don't give access to a wide range of real-world hardware functionalities needed by myriad battle-tested software libraries. The Cartesi machine uniquely implements the full range of RSIC-V's privileged and non-privileged architecture, making it the only Alt VM capable of allowing dApps to be built on Linux distributions. This is ready to go, my friends. It's built and it's live. Cartesi is a Ethereum Layer 2 I'm stacking in preparation for this alt season, and I'm stacking hard. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.
The most trustless name in